It's hunting.
What is going on, everyone? Happy Thursday, and welcome back to Sin City Crypto Live. My name is David. I'll be one of your hosts today. And today, like every day, we are coming at you live from our studio here in the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada, with our daily, only on the weekdays, live shows. Before we get into the content, quick disclaimer. Nothing that's said on this channel should be taken as financial advice. So please, as always, do your own research. Speaking of content, today, new CFTC revised bill that could possibly save Bitcoin and crypto. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the UK Prime Minister resigning and what that could possibly mean for the UK markets and crypto in general, and much, much more. But before we can talk about that and much, much more, I have to introduce you to your second co-host, Big Rob. What's up?
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. It's first time checking us out. We are an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take the old, the boring, the stale information, and we package it up in a fun and sexy way. Also, here at Sin City Crypto, we don't just do live streams. We also film on location at multiple conferences. We post YouTube shorts. We do dedicated deep dives and afternoon videos that you miss. And how do you never miss them? Well, you have that notification bell checked. Also, another request for you, the viewer, is to hit that like button. Don't maybe throw this side at the camera and or the viewer. Hit the like button. Let's get some more people in here and let's get this thing popping. Exciting show today. We got a packed house. We got Rice in studio. Let's send it over to Rice before we get any further. We're excited to have you here. Welcome to Las Vegas. Welcome to Sin City.
You going to give the man an intro or what?
What's going on, guys?
I'm good. You are the man of intro.
Well, then why don't you pass it on to me?
I'm sorry.
That's disrespect. Rice, I am so sorry. Guys,
I can introduce myself.
No, you let me do this. I'd like to introduce you to your third co-host of the day, the man from Rice TVX, hailing all the way from the East Coast. I'm not going to say the state because I'm not sure if he wants people to know, but North Carolina, there you go. Mr. Chris Rice from Rice TVX. Sir, thank you so much for joining us in studio and deciding to sit next to me versus stand next to Robin. That was a wise decision, my friend.
Thank you for having me, and I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to the live stream. It's been a great experience getting in Vegas last night and coming into the studio this morning. It's an awesome studio setup, I've got to say, like coming here in person. Really impressed with what you guys have going on, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
So for all the Rice, take like maybe 1 or 2 minutes. If our community hasn't seen your show, what can they expect when they come over to your channel?
Well, there's actually been a lot of changes that are happening on my channel. I've been splitting off some content. I have 3 shows on my channel, and I'm taking what is formerly known as the Stranger Than Fiction content. And I've started a new channel, which doesn't really have very many videos, just has an introduction video, but that is Rice Against the Grain. That's going to be a non-crypto channel, kind of going into fringe topics, studying history, alternative history, law, spirituality. With Rice TVX, I'm going to be doing something very similar to what you guys are doing here at Sin City. I'm going to be doing either Monday through Thursday or Monday through Friday live stream at a consistent, regular time, and I'm looking at bringing on a new potential co-host. So there's going to be a lot of changes, but as far as like what I cover in the crypto space, I'm very much from the cypherpunk mentality. So I'm not in this for monetary gain. I'm in this for the change that it's bringing to the world. And I'm trying to educate people in regards to that. Also, I'm a big advocate for privacy, decentralization, open source. That's a little bit about me.
Awesome, man. And if you have not subscribed yet to Rice TVX on YouTube, why? Go ahead and do that.
Why?
The link to Rice's
What are you waiting for?
YouTube channel is in the description. Of the
You
video.
guys were on the show about a month ago.
We were.
On my channel. So if you guys are watching this, if you have not seen that on Rice TVX, go check out the Sun City Crypto YouTube Spotlight that came out about a month ago. That was a great show.
Fun, man. That was a good combo.
It was an opportunity to discuss our channel versus getting, just straight crypto thoughts and input. And so it's a little behind the scenes on how we got to where we are, what our mission and what our values are, and kind of how they line up with yours. So it's a great deep dive, essentially, into not only our channel, but also your channel. It's more of a discussion back and forth on our visions.
One of the things that, I find really important, and this is what I try to do when I bring guests on for interviews, is kind of really get to know who I'm talking to, because especially when you're kind of like with doing what we're doing and trying to share our opinion on news pieces, sometimes you wonder, why is this guy coming to this conclusion? Where is this coming from? And when you can start to kind of understand a little bit about how somebody operates, it kind of gives you a little bit more insight about what a little bit more specifically to it. Personalizes, where you're not just some media personality kind of faking it, not being who you truly are. You know, I really like to bring that out of people.
And I think that's important.
Yeah.
So all good points. We're excited to talk about all things crypto with Rice today. But first, before we do that,
let's get into the roll call. All right. So first up in the chat today, we got Crick Cats. Congratulations, Crick Cats. A round of applause. We also have Liquidated Shorts, Robert Salazar, Marky Mark, True Love, Jimmy, Jason S, Davis True Love. We got Moby Sage, Blake. We also have, let's see here, Fino, David Bumblebee, and then also Jay Delano, Life Size Box, also here in studio as well. K Factor. We got Crypto 420, Big Chili Willie, Why You Loud Gang? And then we got Sean C. And then Hindi, Rice TV in the chat as well. And then HP, Sean Behringer, Moby Sage, Biomex, Bullish Kenny G, Blake, and then we got Gina Bobina. I think, is she new?
Who's
If
your
you're not-
hater?
my biggest hater.
She's from Lifer, right?
Bullish
Yeah,
Kenny
she's
G.
from life.
Bullish
Hola!
Kenny G.
Welcome back. And then we got Jason Orso.
You know, Rice.
Anime, and then Stereo 2, and Crypto Epidemic. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Also, Chris Warren G.
And then Chris Warren G.
First time on the live
Crypto
show.
Yogurt.
Warren G and Kenny G?
We also
Yeah.
got
Are
Chris,
they related?
Possibly.
Chris Warrender.
Warren G.
The G Squad's in the house.
Squad, what's up?
Yeah.
Hola! Okay, cool. All right, guys, make sure y'all hit the like button, and then let's get some more people in here. Stay active in the chat, and Strictly Sports made it here last second as well. So,
Strictly Sports. Welcome back. All right, guys.
what's up?
What's
That
up?
sounds funny.
Sounds like fun?
So my favorite meme Twitter handle is at NFT Hawks. So comparison, Harold on the left, 72, averages about 1.2% annualized return over the last 57 years. He missed a crypto bull run and his wife left him. And then on the other side, you have Brixton, a young 14-year-old lad, up 375% last year, down 169% this year, but he's made thousands of tweets about NFTs. And he's currently talking to 4 girls right now. Now, in all seriousness, okay, do you think, like, and then I'll ask this question to Rice first,
How can you say all seriousness after that?
because I have something to tie into this. So obviously, your generation is that thing, everything going online, technology. I know, like, for example, my mom, she hates paperless stuff. She wants paper bills. She, struggles with whatever technology, and so I have to help her out. I'm not saying everyone's like that. I'm just saying, giving my mom as an example. Do you think the gap between the older generation and like to crypto is as wide as people make it seem, or do you think we're close? Right. So I'll ask you first.
We're on the verge of being close. I mean, you got to still remember how your grandmother was with the programmable remote control. There's a digital divide, and I think that that divide is starting to close in a lot more closer. But we're still dealing with the technology where you got to be hands-on, and not a lot of older people aren't used to that. They're used to dealing with the banking system. They're used to having checkbooks and things to that effect. So,
Right.
and then the one thing that really I think kind of takes a lot of older people away, and this even works for most people as well. People act as if I don't understand what this cryptocurrency technology is, so they can't participate because they don't understand what it is. And that's not a really good mentality, because I don't know how email works. I'm not even really sure how TVs work. TVs seem like a magical device to me. I have no clue how you're able to see me live on YouTube right now doing this. It's just the technology is crazy. So don't be afraid of what you don't understand. And I think that's the biggest problem with a lot of older people. And a lot of older people kind of grew up with the idea that a lot of people don't understand that Richard Nixon took our dollar off the gold standard in 71. So they think our money's backed by something. And when they think about something like Bitcoin and the news is talking about all these criminal activities, they think that nothing backs Bitcoin. It's just monopoly money, when in fact, everything is monopoly money. So I'm starting to get less and less, but there is a divide, and it's called a digital divide. I mean, older people just my
technology. First job, I was bagging groceries at that
was my first job too.
Grocery store. So
Burger King for me.
So
okay.
I was 15 years old. So that was
45 years ago.
23 years ago. Anyways, I remember the cashier. It was just taking check after check. Like you go to a grocery store, you write a check, paper check. And I always thought about it. I'm like, you know what? If you had a discussion with perhaps a middle-aged or elderly man or woman at the grocery store who's writing a check, and you were to approach them and say, hey, you're no longer going to be using these checks in 15 years. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to say that checks in its entirety are going to disappear, but it's going to take a back seat to emerging technologies. And that credit card, the Amex that you have, is going to be tailored for more individual transactions. Right now, it's set up for borrowing back and then obviously getting taxed with interest. And that's the at that time, the current setup of a credit card. But the writing was on the wall. The technology was going to emerge, and that you were going to say, hey, you know what? This credit card, this payment system can be expanded, and it can be tied to a bank account, and then you can use it on your checking account. And instead of writing checks and sitting at the line trying to fill this out and having your check bounce, you can all do it digitally. And that idea would have seemed strange to people of that era. And at the same time, you can make very similar parallels to where we're at now. Hey, you know, the money that you have in your checking account now, you know what? It moves digitally, but it can be moved digitally a lot more efficiently in the future. And these blockchain technology, even we were discussing it here before, even with the rise of CBDCs, whether you want them to or not, they're coming. And so there's going to be a shift into more of a digital payment that is something that, and likened to blockchain. Perhaps it'll be a graph of sort, but either way, the technology that moves our money is going to evolve and change.
DLT technology, the distributed technology, like Hashgraph, something like that. But yeah, the CBDC, I don't see as being a cryptocurrency. It would be a digital asset.
No. There's not going to be any like miners. It's not going to look anything like
no cryptography necessarily involved.
But it'll probably, I like how you mentioned Hedera Hashgraph. It'll probably be a little something similar to that, as far as its consensus and how they manage the ledger. If you guys aren't familiar with the digital DLT, which is the digital ledger, take a look at Hedera Hashgraph.
Blockchain would be one of those forms of DLT.
Yeah.
It's not the only form of DLT. Yeah. So there's different types of ledger systems.
Quant also.
They have their overledger.
Yeah.
So, all right. Rob,
what's up?
What are the markets looking like?
All right. So let's take a quick overview of what.
Real quick. We had was it a super chat or a sticker?
Oh yeah, Big Chili Willie dropped $5.
My man. I love rice.
Ah, I love rice too. Do you like white rice, brown rice? How do you like your rice? Jasmine?
I like fried rice.
Dirty white fried?
Chicken fried rice.
You know what? There's a ramen restaurant by my house that does a
barbecue chicken rice pizza.
No, stop it.
Wait, what?
No. So there's a ramen place that does the shasu pork that they put in the ramen bowl. They chop it up and they put it in the fryer.
You sound so exquisite, Rabbi. Shasu pork.
That's what it's called, bro.
Okay, my bad.
Just because
I
the only pork,
chat,
only pork David
chat.
knows is ribs. You like ribs, chops. So taking a look, let's take a quick overview at what the markets are looking like right now. We got Bitcoin coming in at $19,107, kind of that same range we've been at for the last 2 months. So getting kind of boring to look at this chart. So ever since we got
can't find
here
anything.
in August 26th, we hit 20K and we've been bouncing off of it as resistance ever since
Ping pong.
September. So
Ping pong.
there you go.
Literally, like a ping pong ball.
So we're anticipating a big move here in the market. Usually when you trade sideways for this long, you do get a big move in either direction. So I think we are one catalyst away from sending us to 25 or perhaps 16, or I think one big news article or maybe a
Could the
CPI
big news
number.
article be part of our show today?
You know what? Dude, I am so excited about today's show. We got a big bill going into Congress. Anyways, we'll get into that in a minute. Ethereum under $1,300. I was actually talking about Uber driver. He was like, man, that is a steal. And
It's a good time to DCA for sure.
yeah, man. And I think there's little doubt that this thing is going to get to $10,000 just when, as is really, and I think within the next bull run, I would feel comfortable that it's going to
Still
hit 10K.
feel like we're gonna go sub 1K. I don't feel the bottom
For
is in.
ETH?
Free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the bottom is in for crypto
If-
at all, and I still think we're gonna
if
see
you're-
sub 1K.
If you're in the camp that Bitcoin is gonna be testing the 16,000, 15,000, if you think we are to go lower, if that happens, zero doubt whatsoever that Ethereum goes down with it. We hit $900.
Everything will go down.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really, really, really important to pay attention to what's happening geopolitically and economics, like macroeconomics. Like you were telling me about the lady from the UK stepping down, which I didn't even know about. So like there's just in the past 24 hours, I haven't really checked a lot of news, and the CFTC thing I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, there's all kinds
so
of
many
stuff,
things happening, and like there could be like I don't know if when you guys saw the British pound have its issue, the trading pairs of Bitcoin and British pound picked up immensely. I think it was like 11,000 or 1,100% increase in trading. So if we start seeing a lot more failing fiat currencies, we could see people race to crypto as a lifeboat. So I mean, we're in a really unexpected territory. I feel as if the bottom isn't in, but there's so much stuff happening around the world that many things could change on a flip of a dime really quick.
But do you agree that we're closer to a bottom in crypto than we are in the traditional markets?
I could see that.
We still have a long way to go, I think, for both. I mean,
Really?
yeah, and it's really going to depend on what happens with the Federal Reserve. If the Federal Reserve, because there's pressure from the United Nations now for the Fed to reverse course and go into a quantitative easing state, which would add more inflation than we already experienced. So we're in this damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. And that's where, I try to promote things like Bitcoin and decentralized cryptocurrencies as being that lifeboat, that answer for us to get away from the control mechanisms that the central banks and governments put in place.
That's interesting.
I'm not very pro government, especially in the capacity of the way our American government works. I mean, we're supposed to, everything that our founding fathers fought for is no longer in effect today. And I'm for freedom. And I think that Bitcoin offers that financial freedom. It doesn't give you total freedom. And that's one of the things that I study on my channel, is with the law stuff and sovereignty. Because there's more to this. I mean, crypto is a good thing, but it's just a tool to give you financial freedom, and that's just only one inclusion of it. Now, it's a big part. It's a big part.
Do you now we know regulation is coming. Do you for, or are you kind of against regulation? Do you think it's necessary for mass adoption? Where do your thoughts line up?
A double-edged sword. I mean, I feel as if the space should be able to regulate itself, but we see what's happening. So I would like, if there is going to be regulation, I want to see regulation that's going to encourage the growth of our industry as a whole. It's not going to throttling it and have America still be a forefronter in these technologies. So we're in a really weird spot, man. I mean, I just don't want to see the regulation come in. It's going to be something to the effect of a bit license that we see in New York being introduced federally, which would limit a lot of things. KYC would be completely implemented on all levels. You wouldn't have any access of doing anything without providing your identification and identifying yourself citizen. We're just heading into a really interesting territory.
Only time will tell.
So, taking a peek here on the general markets as far as legacy, we're kind of where NASDAQ minus 0.6. So the markets are stabilizing a little bit. We did have 2 big red days yesterday and the day before. So not shaping up for a pretty good week here. I think we're going to end the week in red. And then just kind of the sentiment of the crypto market, still in the same zone, around 23 in the crypto fear and greed index. And then just to take a peek at some of the biggest gainers and losers today, a lot of red across the board on the daily here. Taking a look at the crypto bubbles, you have Uniswap and Quant down 6%. And then on the week, we are still looking good. We're very interested in Casper. We do got some a dedicated show doing a little deep dive into Casper coming up as well. So if you want to know more about that, stay tuned. Also, Matic up 8% on the week and Aave up 16% on the week as well. Yep, that's what I got there.
So I have some interesting stuff I want to share. So this is from UBS, which is a asset management company. This is their global real estate bubble index. Okay, so if they're in the red, they're at risk of a bubble, the bubble bursting. Yellow's overvalued, and green, they're fair valued. And you can see the very first U.S. city you see, Miami, and their index score is 1.39. Not quite bubble territory, but pretty close. And then next you have L.A. Top one, though, is Toronto. And I know here in Vegas, we did see a big run up in home prices. And it is starting to come down a little bit. But like, for example, I bought my house in July of 2020. I almost doubled my home equity in 2 years. And now it's still probably, say, 30-40% over what I paid. So still some equity in there. But here's what's interesting. Well, first of all, anything stick out here, Rob, as far as any of the cities maybe here, whether it's on a global or just national level here in the U.S.?
Not really. I feel like you have all the major cities from around the world here. The fact that
I'm surprised Miami is not on there because Miami,
number 10.
It's the first U.S. city on here.
Oh, okay, now I see it. Okay.
So Miami followed by Los
crazy.
Angeles. I know Paris is pretty high, but so you have Germany, Hong Kong in there. Those kind of stand out. I'm surprised.
Well, you have 2 Canadian cities, right? Toronto and Vancouver in the top 10. So,
Yeah.
And then 2 cities in Germany too. Well, 3 cities in Germany: Zurich, Frankfurt, and Munich.
I don't know if there's going to be a big bubble that pops, or at least not in the same comparative way that the 2008 housing crisis happened. But I mean, the market is overheated when it comes to homes. It just off of how markets move, you gotta pull back, especially when it comes to how much purchasing power people have compared to the price of homes and the escalating federal funds rate, which is having a direct effect when it comes to your 30-year mortgage interest rate. I mean, that's at 7%. It was at 6.9, the last one that we saw. Think about that. 6.9% is the national average for a 30-year mortgage. And that is more than double than where it was just over a year ago. And so you're pricing out so many people, and not to mention people just aren't making more money, or at least not enough money to keep up with the cost of housing. So naturally, we would expect a big pullback there as well. So
you see a lot of people too. I mean, as the economy worsens, I mean, people aren't going to be able to pay their mortgages, and they're going to lose their homes.
Yeah. The idea we talk about all the time, the idea that where we were, even just back in the 80s, 90s, where a single person could provide enough financial stability to pay for rent and utilities and groceries. And now that idea is out the window.
No, you need two people
yeah.
and sometimes multiple jobs for one person.
Yeah, unless you're like you're living in a shack. If you're living in any decent part of town and you got an apartment or a home, rent, you need mom and dad both got to go to work.
Sad reality.
Or dad and mom and mom, whatever world we live in now. So, so, anyways, yeah, well, that's all I got.
All right. I want to move on. Some more traditional market news. Rice did mention this.
This is crazy, man.
British Prime Minister Liz Truss resigns.
44 days.
Now, when was it specifically that she resigned?
This morning. 44 days. She made it 44 days.
I got it. She's in a tough position. Like I was telling you when you guys were telling me about a supremely tough position. I mean, look what happened to the British pound under her watch. Now, I mean, obviously it didn't happen specifically because of her, but she was the one who was the prime minister at the time. So it didn't reflect well on her. I'm not a big fan of the fact that she is a part of the World Economic Forum as a young leader. The only thing I did like about her was that she was pro Bitcoin, but that doesn't necessarily mean much either. So I'm just not a big fan of anything involved with the World Economic Forum.
You don't like the WF? Why?
How much time you got?
Yeah, how much time you got?
You know, obviously, for me, the biggest pushback in the very short term that she was there was with the was a financial ministry. The guy that was in office. He also resigned last week. Anyways, yeah, tax cut for the rich, implement tax hikes for the regular folks, the average middle class, and then something else they were going to do as well. But anyways, you know what? We're getting to this point where things are getting so bad that the citizens of these countries are just up in arms, are pissed off. They're upset. And they want to speak up. We're seeing it in Paris, in France. You're having all this inflation issues. People are out there protesting in the streets. What's going on in Paris is crazy. And that's all due to inflation as well. And so, I don't know, man. I think you're going to start seeing this. Remember when, and people are like, oh, that'll never happen here. You know when the last time I heard that? Remember when China went down on lockdowns because of the pandemic? I remember watching that, and I was like, bro. And I thought to myself, for a short period of time, I was like, that'll never happen here. It'll never close down here. And then lo and behold, it happened here. Now you're seeing all these protest people over inflation out on the streets, pissed off.
That's part of it.
And demanding change. And I'm looking at it, and I had that
I can sense another wave coming.
I had that sense, that same kind of thought. I was like, oh, that'll never happen here. And then I was like, no, it actually can happen here. And it's actually going to happen here. Just a matter of when. How much can you piss off the people here in the United States or whatever country you're in before they're fed up with it and they demand change? And you know what? In England, it only lasted 44 days, bro. So,
if you look around the world, though, I mean, you mentioned France. I mean, we had the Hong Kong protest that was taking place before. We had the Canadian trucker convoy situation. We've had the farmers. Lanka.
Canada, the trucker.
That's what I was mentioning. Yeah, mentioned the Freedom Convoy. Sri Lanka. There's a couple other scenarios. There's stuff going on in Italy. I mean, it's like there's a lot of civil unrest.
Is it just me? Is it because it's more front and center? I feel like this is new for the world, right? As far as many
incidents is happening all at once. Yeah. But everything is like that. I've even noticed the uptick in crime like that too. Like where you might see what you would see in a 3 or 4 month time period for crime rate is now taking place in a month. Yeah. There was a shooting at a bar right down the street from my house a couple of weeks ago, and it's in a really nice area. So it made no sense.
San Francisco is like,
but there's this everything. There's like an uptick of everything happening. I mean,
right.
A lot of people are feeling the pain for what's going on. I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, if you look at the situation of even the homeless rate in the United States, it's insane. You look at Los Angeles has basically become tent city. It's absolutely insane. Here in Vegas, you guys have your underground dwellers.
Yeah.
And there's a
I'm
lot.
glad somebody else knows about that because everyone thinks I'm on some like conspiracy. There's like literally like
There's
a
an
community.
underground Vegas.
Yeah, dude, it's nuts. All these like little what it is.
We'll show you around if you come visit us.
So when it rains here in Vegas, obviously we don't have like the soil and dirt that absorbs anyway. So they have these big underground channels that run under the streets, and there's like big water washes that are built underground, kind of like a subway system. The homeless population it lives down there. There's like a whole city down there. It's crazy. You can be like walking around Las Vegas.
Underworld
And
Vegas.
They're looking through the manholes like, hey, you see
So so getting back to the Liz Truss thing, right? So she became the shortest serving prime minister ever. This is a quote from her. I recognize, given the situation, I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party. Here's what I was referring to earlier. The opposing party wants a new general election. Liz Truss, however, stated that there will be a Conservative Party election instead within a week. So
they don't waste
like,
waste any time there, huh?
The Conservative Party, we won the prime ministership, the position, and so they're not going to do a new general election. They're just going to pick another person from the Conservative Party. What are your thoughts on that? Is that the right thing to do, or should it just go to a general election?
I'm not too familiar on how the elections and how people are put into the positions there. I'm not sure how the inner workings of that is. Just my first thought is a week. Like that's pretty quick, man. You know, maybe if that's the standard there, maybe they need to reevaluate. Maybe they need to take some time and look over candidates and have more of a drawn out like.
But what she's saying, I think, makes sense in the sense like here in the United States, we vote for a president. We don't vote for a party.
Right.
But in Canada and the UK, they're voting for parties. So
but here
if they voted the Conservative
US.
Party in, then they should. And one of the and who is chosen as the prime minister steps down, then they should be able to elect someone from their party.
Here in the
party
US,
won.
like if president resigns or gets impeached, the vice steps up. So I guess that's
Yeah,
still the same.
they don't have a vice.
Yeah,
prime
but
minister.
but it all stays.
They
in
had
the
the
it all
parliament.
stays in the party, though. You get you're still gonna get if something were to happen to old Sleepy Joe, the Kamala will step up.
Not so Sleepy Joe will step up. So, that's all I got for traditional market. One thing I want to show as far as some TA. I don't have much today, but Quant obviously went on a parabolic run.
Damn.
Does TA mean the same thing in Vegas as it does in real life?
Depends on what time of the night it is.
Yeah. Depends on what day of the week and what time of the day. So we saw Quant peak out at 226, came all the way down. A level I've drawn here. This is on the 4-hour chart, $156. But if we go to Crypto Stackers Pro, we take the local high we had here on the 17th, just 3 days ago. You can see it kind of coincides 157 on the 3x short level versus 156 on TradingView. So pretty congruent there. I would be looking at this 155 to 158. I want to see it settle in here, maybe spend a day or two, or at least 4-hour candles, right? Just say 12 hours. Spends 12 hours there. We got built some support on top, and then look for Quant to make a new local high, which would be past 193.
Hold on, am I saying $163?
Yeah.
Good God, that thing was over $200 like 2 days ago, right?
Yeah, it drew down from the.
I just haven't looked at the quant
from
chart
the
lately.
wick. Drew down. It's down 30, close to 30%.
Sheesh.
So yeah, and then XRP.
Was there a news event taking place with Quant?
Just it was a lot of FOMO. It was a lot of CBDC talk. Plus, their tokenomics are really good. Only 14.6 million max supply, so less than Bitcoin. And then the last thing I want to show is XRP. This is the 1-hour chart on XRP. Kind of been in this little descending parallel channel, but we are getting closer to the lower bound, which will put us right at 44.1 cents. Look,
I'm not the TA guy. Is that a bear flag or is that just a descending, or is there a difference?
No.
Or I'm just
no, not really a bear flag.
okay. Just
I
curious.
mean, this if you were to draw a bear flag, you would draw draw the initial poll here, but this channel's too long.
Okay.
I should have broken out by now, but it hasn't, which is good. But we should we should see a move to the upside. And now, of course, very minute because we're on the 1 hour chart, but the upper end of this channel here puts us at 45 cents. But we do want to break above and then retest this 48-cent level that we had here back on the 18th, so 2 days ago. And that is all I have for technical analysis.
All right, man. Without further ado, I want to get into this new bill, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, this thing,
guys, is your brain starting to hurt because you're storing all the information?
I'm giddy, man. I am so excited. And not to mean that I'm excited that I want it coming. I just want to break this thing down. I want to talk about what is about to go to Congress and what this could mean for crypto, particularly Bitcoin and Ethereum. Not to discount that this won't affect the broader markets because that's crazy. Anyways, go ahead, brother.
All right. Let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
There is a secretly circulating cryptocurrency bill. It's a source from Cointelegraph.
Secretly.
We have it
Hold
first.
on. Say that 3 times really fast.
Secretly circulating. Secretly circulating. Anyways, so there was an original draft of this bill that a lot of people were up in arms about, but there's a new version, and this version contains a limited exception to the term digital commodity trading facility, which would exclude persons who solely develop or publish software, which could be, a lot of people are saying, could be a boom to the DeFi and crypto space. The bill creates a compliance architecture that precludes the concept of a system of smart contracts operating decentralized infrastructure with little or no reliance on human activity. The bill is called a DCCPA. It extends the regulatory power of the CFTC on crypto. And Martin Heisboke, who's the head of research at crypto exchange Uphold, tweeted that the newly released draft seems to follow similar regulations in the European Union and the UK, suggesting that the US is, quote, finally getting their act together. Now, Robin, I know you literally read every page of this.
31 pages.
Okay, break it down.
31 pages. All right, here we go. There's a lot to cover. So we're just going to go step by step here. All right, so ladies, gentlemen, without further ado, we have the bill here, and it is in legal. So they have a lot of strikes here because this is they're still amending and changing, which is still open for change. So if you are you would like to you have your own input, you can get in there and make your own suggestions.
Yeah.
All right. So right off the bat, they define a couple things. So first, right at the front page here, remember that talk of broker and how that could encompass anybody that uses crypto. You know, me, you could be a broker. Here, they define this. So digital commodity broker means a person who's associated with digital commodity broker as a partner, officer, employee, agent, and they basically facilitate the acceptance of digital commodity and trade, and then or the supervision of any person engaged in the solicitation or acceptance of a digital commodity and trade. So basically, a lot of people are up in arms about what is this broker thing. So this addresses it, and then they define digital commodity. So what is a digital commodity? It means a fungible digital form of a personal property that can be possessed and transferred peer-to-peer via digital ledger or distributed ledger. Digital commodity includes property commonly known as cryptocurrency, such as, this is the big one, Bitcoin and Ethereum. So they define Bitcoin and Ethereum here as a commodity in this bill. So if this bill were to pass, safe to say Bitcoin and Ethereum are labeled commodities. And some exclusions here is securities. So if something's deemed a security, probably by the SEC, I'm assuming, if it's deemed a security, it doesn't fall under any of this. So everything we're discussing would not fall under the CFTC. So as of right now, it'd be Bitcoin and Ethereum. Going further down into this, the term digital commodity custodian. So basically, they go into, in this part of the bill, they go into who is a custodian. And so they go through that definition as far as what the business looks like in custody. And then you have digital commodity dealer. So there's lots of different breakdowns. And so we're going to pause here for a second. And then I think this is page 3. So we got another 27 pages to go.
Yeah,
but
try to
I won't take up too much time, but just real quick, we've talked about the need for clarity. If you desire institutions and regulation, you need to basically have some kind of baseline where everybody agrees on what things are. At least, hey, this is a commodity. This is a broker. This is what a custodial service is, and from there, yeah. I mean, what do you guys think? What's your initial thoughts reading about the bill? Basically, giving definitions to, because this is what's been lacking.
Yeah, we definitely need clarity with some of these things when it comes to like the broker stuff, what they're going to try to do with requiring people to have like money transmittal licenses and things like that. I like the fact that they're putting Ethereum and Bitcoin, because obviously Bitcoin is a commodity the way it's been rated, and Ethereum should be in that position, especially based off the Hinman information that took place with between Ethereum and SCC that's being brought up in the XRP case. And this would add more clarity to the fact of what the SEC will have jurisdiction over, which is really important, because the SEC wants to have jurisdiction over all of cryptocurrency, and it doesn't really apply. So I think defining things to these points would allow for us to know which particular branch of the government is supposed to be in charge of what particular area of cryptocurrency. And
that is literally the foundation and baseline. Just tell us what the F is a commodity.
Yeah.
What's a security?
Well, even the government doesn't necessarily 100% agree with even just on what Bitcoin is. I mean, there's a lot of differences with that. I mean, as a whole, the government has not come out and said, this is what it is. I mean, you have different people looking at it in different ways. So until we can come to have these clarity with these definitions and things like that, I think this is a good thing to clarify and define things. I'm not a fan of regulation, but this is good.
There is also some interesting things that might not be so favorable in the crypto community in here as well, but at least we're off to a good start. So taking a look, let's move on. So they have a digital commodity trade. So they define what a trade is as far as a purchase of a sale of digital commodity and how you can exchange it between one another. And then a lot of more legal stuff here. Okay, so we got digital commodity platforms. So if you're going to be a platform that facilitates trades, perhaps an exchange or custodial service, you're going to have to register. So this is going to be a requirement to, and I don't know what this would look like. Like, hey, if you offer Bitcoin as a token that you can buy and sell, do you have to register with the CFTC, or this is going to be strictly for the Chicago Mercantile Exchange? That I'm not exactly sure of. But if this were to pass, if you're going to register, you're going to have to register with the CFTC on this. And then this is to protect...
Which I think is a good way of protecting consumers.
Yeah. I'm just curious if these exchanges are going to have to, like, say Coinbase, Binance, are they going to register with the CFTC? Or that's what I'm not sure of, or what it'll look like. But and then this is obviously, as they say, is to protect the markets and market participants from abusive practices committed by any party. So, I mean,
like, what was that Canadian exchange, the Quadra something?
Quadriga.
Yeah, where the CEO supposedly died.
Yeah, he's probably still out there, man.
I mean, things like that would be helpful, and that's where I think the consumer protection comes in. That's important.
Yeah, so far, and overall, I'm very receptive to this bill. I think this is actually pretty good. I mean, there's a couple things we'll discuss here in a minute, but we also have to promote fair and equitable trading on digital commodities. So basically, more on this to prevent manipulation. And so they want to. So if you register, you're required to monitor trading in digital commodities to prevent manipulation, price distortion, and disruptions to the delivery of settlement process through surveillance, compliance, and disciplinary practices and procedures, including investigations and sanctions. So if you are registered, you are required to prevent manipulation. I think that's the biggest thing here, and adhere to sanctions. So,
Well, that is literally what Gary Gensler hangs his hat on when he denies spot ETF.
yeah.
Is manipulation. They're saying 90% of the transactions are not real transactions, so they're being manipulated. So
There's a lot of whitewash trading and bot trading.
right. So here's my thing. What about DeFi platforms? What about like a Uniswap?
They go into this, so there's clarity there on DeFi as well, which is pretty interesting. I think this is the first bill I've heard of that it really addresses smart contracts. They discuss DeFi a little bit, but they discuss more of the smart contracts than anything else.
Also, shout out to Tom Crown in the chat.
Oh,
He's in Vegas.
He just landed.
Yeah, I was going to ask him when Vegas.
When Vegas, bro?
If you want, man, you come by the studio. We're
by
about
right now.
5 minutes away from the
We're going to be
airport.
speaking at the Litecoin Summit together. We're going to be on a panel together.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool, man.
Yeah. So digital commodity trading facilities shall adopt rules to provide and exercise emergency authority and consultation and cooperation with the commission anyways. They can suspend or curtail trading in a digital commodity if need be. So if things go sideways, they can enact an emergency measures. And then also some of these broker or some of these custodial and exchanges if they register, need to have a chief compliance officer, which will put together annual reports. And so in putting in reports, a property. So this is for the treatment of customers. A digital commodity platform shall hold customer property in a manner that minimizes risk of loss or unreasonable delay in access to consumer property. Okay, so I'm going to expand on this a little bit here in the next. So digital commodity platform shall treat and deal with all customer property that is delivered by or on behalf of a customer to a digital commodity platform, and it belongs to the customer. So, customer property described. Okay, so basically your tokens on these platforms should be separately accounted for and shall not, listen to this, shall not be commingled with other assets on digital commodity platform. So the same thing, the things that we've been hearing about, what happened with Celsius, where they were combining all people's assets and then arbitraging that or doing other things. If you register through the CFTC, you cannot commingle other people's assets. They are individual, they're separate, and you can't do anything with them, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And then also, commission may adopt rules and regulations permitting lending of digital commodities. And then I'm going to rules governing so then they also address rules governing margin and leverage trading.
Okay, here this should be interesting.
There's a lot in here. I just know that there's an outline for that. And then here they go into contracts, smart contracts as well. And
now, overall, I mean, the CFTC is a lot more pro-crypto than
yeah.
the SEC. So this is a good thing. If we're going to have regulation, I'd much rather have it be in a situation where the CFTC is a little bit more involved
100%.
because I think we're going to have a lot more fairness. I think it will help allowing for the United States to actually be competitive. Because, I mean, this is a forward technology that we need to be embracing. And if we're allowing other countries to do it, we're going to be falling by the wayside.
here's something I found extremely interesting. Listen to this.
But you got Crypto Mom and Crypto Dad, like they were part of the CFTC. Chris Giancarlo.
And
Hester Pierce. Yeah.
Hester Pierce. Yeah.
So listen to this. The commission shall examine in consultation with other federal regulation agencies as the commission determines appropriate the energy consumption and sources of energy used in connection with the creation and transfer of most widely traded digital commodities. Basically, they want to report on energy usage of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and anything else that gets deemed a commodity. So, and this is to be done no later than 180 days after the bill is signed.
And what's good about that too is it'll hopefully dispel how much energy is actually being utilized, like what the media will say is being utilized by.
Yeah, because there's so much.
And then also it might talk about the pros of like using flare gas and different alternative sources of power to be able to do the mining, where it's not taking away from the infrastructure from the nations that they're mining in.
So here they also address, so not only there's an estimate of the energy consumption and the sources of energy used in the connection and creation and transfer of the most of digital commodities. So here you have, how much energy is using, but where are these sources coming from? So no longer they're going to just highlight one piece of, say, hey, it uses this amount of energy is bad. Well, you can be like, well, look, 80% of that is renewable. And 80% of this was going to be unused energy anyways. So, that is to be taken into account as well. And then this is to be published on the CFTC website.
They're always focused on the little bit of negative that revolves around mining, right? Mm-hmm. They never focus on all these facilities or these silos or whatever they're called, who just seep out methane into the environment that no one does anything about, and then miners come, set up shop right there. They harness that methane that would have gone into the atmosphere.
If you have a hydro,
talk about that.
If you have a hydroelectric dam, you're using 40% of the energy created. 60% is wasted. Why not concentrate that energy and make a use of it and turn it into basically a property?
Kevin O'Leary brought up such a good point in Miami. He said, if you just give these miners, these mining companies, if you just give them a little bit of leeway, they will build the next generation of infrastructure for energy. Because literally that is their job. They want to be as profitable as possible. And how do you do that? You find alternative ways of energy and harnessing energy. And so they talk about all this nuclear power and hydroelectric or whatever it's called. And we don't have the infrastructure yet. And he talked about, if you let the miners do their thing, they will build the infrastructure for you. They will pay for it for you. But we keep going back to this negative narrative. You can throw a negative narrative on anything. So it's just annoying.
And then lastly, just to round it out, this is the very end of it. So they do address decentralized protocols here. Gives kind of a expectations for them, and then they do go through smart contracts as well. I'm not going to bore you guys to death, so I'll just kind of scroll through. And then here you have a report on historically underserved. So not only are you getting a report on energy, but a report on historically underserved customers participating in the digital commodity markets. So they're going to examine the racial and ethnic and gender demographics of customers participating in the digital economies. And then put it together a report on it. So, what?
Hold on. Okay, participating in the digital.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, who has been predominantly excluded from financial markets, from going and investing in stocks? As of lately, you got a couple apps that people have access to, like Robinhood. But generally, the privileged and the few. Here in the States.
The accredited investors.
Yes, they're the ones that are able to play games when it comes to Wall Street and investing.
And it's really ridiculous because they allow people who apparently have extra money that can afford to lose the money be able to get these licenses. But it screws the retail investor, the everyday person who needs to improve their life. And it's unfortunate.
The people that need it the most, right?
Yeah, exactly. Who'd have thunk it?
Go figure.
That's it, Rocco.
Who would have thunk it?
So what do you guys think? So that was the bill highlighted in a big raw way. So
it doesn't look bad overall. I mean, when it comes to regulation, it's a lot more positive than I've heard in other pieces of legislation. So I'd had to do a deeper dive because I didn't even know this had been released. Was this also today, or has this been within the past?
This was last night. It leaked. I think they're taking the final, they're putting in the final revisions, and there were talks of them pushing this forward today. I don't know if that timeline still holds. But
what's interesting about that too is there's all this talk about it's just a lot of crazy stuff going on with this, man.
Yeah. Well,
you know what's interesting too is I'm not trying to turn this political, but Miss Stabenow, She is the senator from Michigan. She's a Democrat, and she's the one who kind of championed this bill. So this is our political system is so broken, right? We are so split down the middle as a country: Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal, left, right. And I feel like over the last maybe year, couple years, when we're seeing bipartisan. I think like a lot of it revolves around crypto, right? The whole stablecoin thing, bipartisan. The crypto bill that Senator Gillibrand.
Everything's bipartisan. You know what actually really alarmed me about the infrastructure reduction bill, which had nothing to do with that, obviously.
You mean Inflation Reduction Act?
The Inflation Reduction Act, yeah, whatever it's called, the BS. When it went through Senate, we have 100 senators. I believe it's 50 Republican, 50 Democrats, and that was actually how the vote went. It was completely split. It was the Senate Majority Leader, who is our Vice President, that was able to do the tiebreaker for it to go through to the President to sign. So that should be alarming to people, is how divided our nation is, how everything is being politicized by party, and it's getting ridiculous. It's weaponizing everything that we have going on.
Yeah, you can't. As a politician, you can't have your own independent thoughts now. You have to align with the party's vision, and that's it. And it didn't used to be like that. Remember, was it Jesse Ventura won a congressional seat as a independent party? Mm-hmm. That was only about, what was it, like 15 years ago or so? And so that right now sounds preposterous, right? Could you imagine somebody winning a congressional seat through an election as an independent party?
My friend Ammon Bundy is running for governor of Idaho as an independent, because he was going to run with the Bundy standoff. Yeah, the son, one of the sons. So he's running as an independent. He was running as a Republican, but the Republican incumbent is basically a Democrat in Republican clothing.
Look, like I said, and to kind of echo what Rice is saying, we are so divided that to see stuff like this happen, like as far as, you know, the politicians, each side coming together, bipartisan bills, we're seeing a lot of that in crypto, and my guess is we're going to continue to see that. But this thing's not signed into law yet. Still got some time, so I'm sure more info will come out, and we'll bring you that info.
Now, there are committees that are bipartisan. So, I mean, it is completely possible for these grown-up people to actually get along and play nicely together. It's just a matter of, will they?
And I think they will. I think they'll have to. I mean, every other country, if not, are going to pass them up.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. FTX deal, and we're going to talk. We heard a lot of. I saw a lot of chatter on Sam Bankman, and we're actually going to cover his stance and what we think about that. But this next one, the FTX deal, could return funds to Voyager clients. So some good news if you have money locked up in Voyager. Voyager customers could recover around 72% of the value of their accounts. Part of the sale would involve moving Voyager customers onto the FTX exchange, and as part of the Voyager bankruptcy case. If you remember, Texas State Securities Board Enforcement Director Joe Rotunda is probing FTX and its crypto billionaire owner, Sam Bankman-Fried. And Joe has asked the New York Bankruptcy Court, which is handling Voyager's case, to block the sale to FTX. I feel bad for Voyager clients, man. They're like, crap, it's going down. We're losing all our money. Oh my God, they're selling it. Oh my God, we're going to get 72% of our stuff back. But now, oh my God, the Texas Securities Division wants to block the sale. Do you think it's going to go through? Is 72, like, if you were a Voyager consumer, would you be happy getting 72% of your assets back?
That's more than I ever thought. Yeah, if you were if I had an account on Voyager and you were telling me I was going to get 72% back, knowing what I know, I'm like, hey man, that's pretty good, man.
What about you, Rice? Would you be ecstatic?
I mean, I don't.
72% good?
I mean, it is. I just don't encourage people to utilize those centralized services. But yeah, I mean, 72% is good. But I think it's really interesting what is happening with Texas and this probe. I just say probe away, my friend, especially for SBF. You know, probe hard. Probe harder.
If you're probing hard, probe harder.
So that number aside, there's been a lot of outspoken critics of FTX. I do side on the camp that FTX, they're business first, put it this way. A lot of people are pushing this narrative that FTX is this, hey, we're coming in to save crypto. We're going to buy up all of these companies that are going under, and we're going to make this space better. Like,
we're going to own it all.
Rice, I want to ask you.
Business first.
So listen, so 2 days ago, the story broke about the Texas Securities Board looking into Sam Bankman-Fried, right? Mm-hmm. And my thing was, and Robin called it a conspiracy, but why is it that it's not the United States Securities and Exchange Commission that has gone after BlockFi, has gone after Coinbase, has gone after all these companies, people, and exchanges, and they haven't gone after one of the largest in the U.S.?
It's a good question, but there's a lot of things I think that happened on the state level. If you look at what was happening with Celsius before Celsius went down, it was around November of last year, around the time of Decentral in Miami. I was talking to Alex Mashinsky about what was going on. And there were a lot of different states that were bringing in question whether or not Celsius was legal for the people that lived, the residents of those states. So there are situations where the states will do things like this without the SEC being involved. It also might show how corrupt our government is also, because Sam Bankman-Fried is the number 2 contributor to the Democratic Party as far as
number 2 contributor on campaign donations for
so I mean, if you don't have the SEC, which is part of the government, probing them, but yet you have a state SEC probing,
and it's a red state. Is
right?
That weird?
It's a state that's bucking against the federal government. It's a state that has actually talked about what's the word when you leave a union?
I know exactly.
But they have the ability because they were a nation in and of themselves when they were brought into secession. Yes. So yes, Texas is very interesting state, and I think it's good that we're seeing these type of probings being taking place, because I mean, there's just something shady about Sam Bankman-Fried, even prior to what Ben Armstrong has been sharing recently. I've never been a fan of what FTX has done, and it really pissed me off when they bought, was it Billfold or the Billfodl, the
stock exchange,
the aggregator site where you can look at prices. I forget what the application used to be called. It's now the FTX app.
Huh? Not sure. But you brought up Sam Bankman-Fried, which is a perfect segue to Sam Bankman-Fried, who is
he is Emperor Palpatine, as Sean said. I get it, totally is.
Yeah. So he's been liking a Pablo Escobar. This is sourced from Protos.
He looks like a GQ model here,
Yeah. Sam Bankman-Fried has been warned that he risks eliminating the U.S. from the crypto race should a new set of standards that he proposed be adopted. Now, here's what he's outlined. He outlines his desire to block sanctioned addresses, has proposed a protocol that would give hackers a cut of stolen crypto, so as long as the assets are returned and the disputes are settled. And he lays out a 3-step process that FTX will use to decide whether or not to list a crypto as a security, and has also suggested a suitability test that would restrict customer access to crypto assets based on varying factors such as their net worth.
Why does it sound like they're describing themselves as the SEC?
And you know what? They want to line up with.
You think that's why SEC's not really going after him and looking after this guy? I mean,
who appointed?
You donate. You're the second biggest contributor to
who appointed Gary
campaign
Gensler
donations.
In his position?
What's up?
Who appointed Gary Gensler in his position?
Sleepy Joe.
Congress, Democrats.
Sleepy Joe. He's a cabinet member.
So it makes a lot of sense that, with Sam Bankman-Fried being the second largest contributor to the Democratic Party, that there's not being any investigations. Again, that's why I was saying it should bring some attention. Like what you just said, why is the Texas SEC going after them and not the federal SEC? Why isn't this happening on a federal level and just on a state level?
That's what I'm saying. You going after BlockFi. And check this out. The whole reason the Texas thing came about is because someone from that office decided to, because they have FTX for global and then FTX US, just like Binance does, because our rules and regulations are a little different. So this guy from the Texas Securities Commission went on FTX.com, not FTX US, from a US IP address, and he was able to deposit money and start earning in the Earn program. And so he's like, well, I'm not supposed to be able to do this. So how many more people are doing this? And that's where the whole probe came in. But it's like, if a guy from a freaking state securities commission can do that simple step and find that out, where are all these SCC people they just hired?
Well, and it could lead into, well, no, there's a lot of people are quitting the SEC. They've actually had, I think I just read something recently where they've had like one of the craziest turnovers of different SEC employees since Gensler's been in charge.
Well, repeat that one more time. Sorry.
The SEC, there's been a lot of people stepping down from the SEC due to Gary Gensler kind of being embarrassed and not wanting to work for the SEC because of what Gary Gensler has done. And Gary Gensler is, I mean, he's so well educated with cryptocurrency. I don't understand why he is. Dude. But again, who put him in his position? So it's he's looking out for the government. Yeah, he's looking out for the dollar when it comes down to it.
He's looking out for the people that line his pockets.
He's looking to make his exchange the Bank of America of crypto.
Yeah. I mean, they did. Didn't they just buy that? Not super recently, but they bought a like a traditional stock exchange, right, or something, or an app,
derivatives, I think, or something to that effect.
Traditional finance, kind of like what Robin was doing, right?
One of the
you can buy stocks.
One of the trading apps. It wasn't Webull. It was like one of the other ones.
eToro or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Well, I'll look that up.
One of those.
I don't think it was eToro though.
So it's like, is he getting in bed with these politicians and the government, and kind of in turn, they're like, hey, look, you got one of the largest exchanges in the U.S. You have a pretty big, people look up to you. You have a pretty big platform. You help us champion these regulations, and we will make sure that out of all of this, you will be at the forefront of a regulated, like blessed by the government cryptocurrency exchange. Kind of what happened with BlackRock, right? When BlackRock came to the rescue of the U.S. government, now they're essentially, buddy with the Fed.
So they
pretty much direct the Fed as far as the trading goes and stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they partnered with Paradigm?
Yeah.
Paradigm.
It'd be Paradigm.
No,
Paradigm.
There was an exchange that they, an exchange,
a Paradigm,
or an app that they bought that only did traditional. So they're essentially going to be a Robinhood. You can buy and sell crypto. You can buy and sell stocks. So it'll be interesting. But like Robin said, and he said this before, Sam Bankman-Fried, he's a businessman. Money comes first. If you think he gives a crap about you, your portfolio, or really the ethos of what crypto is, you are sadly mistaken, my friends.
And if you think he's here to save crypto, you're definitely sadly mistaken.
You are depressingly sadly mistaken. All right, you guys got anything else to add to this before I move on?
No, we can move on.
We can move on? Okay.
He's gotten enough attention.
I want to go. I know, yeah. So, hold on. Let me see what I want to talk about.
His little 5 minutes is over.
So we have two of the most vocal communities. They are now bound by an interoperable thing. L2 solution makes ADA and Algorand network interoperable. It's pretty interesting. Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson announced that Algorand is now on the Cardano network. Algorand is a non-EVM chain with multiple other unique factors that make it the perfect candidate for one of the first roll-ups outside the ETH ecosystem. This is from people in the Cardano camp. There are two products that are already live on the A1 rollups, Seller and Blueshift. Blueshift, they're also planning to release features that will make it possible for users of both networks to make cross-chain swaps. So Rob, I'll ask you first. What are your thoughts on this?
So, is it just basically a partnership? Is it just Algorand just
now they're essentially
on Cardano, right?
Through rollups, yes.
Yeah, but not vice versa though, right?
That I'm not sure. But we'll just go with what we know.
Charles has been a outspoken supporter of both Algorand and Avalanche. And so seeing interoperability between Algorand and Cardano, not surprising at all. He usually has a lot of, I'm a big fan of Charles, but he would throw a lot of shade at a competition. But one that he always talks highly of is Algorand. And so not surprised at all. I would expect this partnership if that's what it is, or at least interoperability to expand and get further down the rabbit hole. But
What I'd be curious about, and it says that Algorand is now on the Cardano network. So does that mean the Algorand token is running on the Cardano blockchain, or is there like a wrapped version of Algorand?
So I think
usually the native, usually all tokens on Cardano, it wasn't the last upgrade, but the one before, are all treated natively the same. And so I'm not a computer science engineer, but from my understanding, you wouldn't need to use Cardano to facilitate trades, as an example. Like, say you're doing
you can
a
use
DeFi.
that native token.
Yeah.
That's
So you can
on-
swap, like, so let's say you went from Sunday swap token straight to Algorand. You can just swap the two, and any transaction fees you can pay in the native token, either Sunday swap or in the Algorand token, all done on chain, hands free of the ADA token.
Okay, that's cool.
Now, does this apply to Algorand via the rollups? I'm not sure, but native tokens on Cardano are all treated the same in the same way as ADA. So a little different than you get with the ERC20 token, where that is the fuel that powers the ecosystem. Any token on Cardano powers the ecosystem.
Rice, what are you more bullish on, Cardano or Algorand?
Cardano.
Is there any specific reasons why, or?
I mean, I've just got to spend time with Charles Hoskinson over the past couple of years, and just a really cool dude. I got a lot of respect for him. We have a lot of similar ideals, especially when it comes to the economic side, because he's definitely has a lot of anarchist points of views, and definitely comes from a viewpoint of not being a fan of our banking system. Something else too that I really enjoyed about Charles Hoskinson is he had attended Davos in the past, and I think he made a concerted effort.
WEF, that's for the WEF, right?
And I think he decided he wasn't going to attend anymore because of the direction that they're taking with things. So I commend him on that. But when I've had him on my show for an interview, learning about his viewpoints from like an Austrian economic standpoint, there's a lot of things I really like about him. I really like the fact that they try to get scientifically peer-reviewed papers from different constituents and peers that aren't necessarily crypto related,
Right.
Coming at this from a very scientific standpoint. I mean, I think he's really incredibly smart. I think he's one of the, because of the way the crypto media is controlled, he's one of the people that I feel in the media, they try to make him look like he's not good for crypto, when in fact, I think it's very much the opposite.
He's
Yeah, I mean-
one of the few people that are outspoken against the policies that are being put in place.
His communication, like doing like these live streams, his YouTube channel, I mean, the way he communicates with everybody, he's just very open. I mean, obviously he's not 100% transparent with everything, but he's just very open, and he communicates a lot of information to a lot of people.
He spearheaded the kind of pushback against a bill being passed that a lot of people weren't even aware of. And there was a lot of, and it wasn't even the big one. It was a smaller one that was being proposed. And he was like, yeah, this is not okay. He went over the whole bill, highlighted some things, were basically expanding on what that would look like if the bill got passed. People got enraged and mad because he got his community behind it. Like, yo, this is what they're proposing. Like, look what they're trying to pass. And before I saw that interview, I hadn't even heard anything of it. So he's bringing people's attention. What is going on? Last week he was in Washington, D.C. testifying in front of Congress. And, I think he's got a vision in the crypto space that is broader than his own Cardano network. And so I think he's working to help the entire ecosystem.
Well, is one of the developers of Ethereum too. I mean, he kind of has a lot of insight on things. I mean, one thing with the Ethereum roadmap, it's really interesting. I mean, if you look at where they're supposed to be, they're nowhere near what they had talked about doing years ago with their roadmap. Where Charles has been very meticulous with the Cardano stuff, as far as being very specific with releases, upgrades. Now, not everything obviously is taking place on the dates that they say, but the communication level is completely there, and it's really cool that they have that those updates and being able to keep the community updated with everything and totally involved. I mean, it's good like when you know what's going on with the projects that you're involved in. I don't know very much about the Algorand team. You know, Charles is a very public person, and that also speaks volumes too when you have somebody who's willing to step out on a public level and make themselves be known, because you have someone that you can hold accountable in that aspect.
Right. That's actually a good point.
Kadena, I think, is a cool. I see that. Kadena is a really cool idea. From what I understand, when Kadena was first created, it was created for a closed system for JP Morgan, and then the team took the code and re-released it as Kadena. It is a project that I am looking a lot more at as far as layer 1 solutions. So aside from that, that's the most I can really say about Kadena, though.
I know Rob's a big Kadena guy.
I like Kadena. Yeah. Also, I do like Algorand. The founder of Algorand, Silvio Mercalli, right? MIT grad. I think he's a buddy with Gary. You know, maybe he's got an end to.
That's Gilbert, bro. That's Verdian from
Charlie Lee was an MIT grad.
This is so loosely. I'm just saying that Gary taught at MIT.
You leave the conspiracies to me, my friend.
He also taught at MIT. Maybe the two of them,
I am the in-house conspiracy theorist.
Okay, my bad.
All right. That's all I got for today, boys.
Is it?
Rice, is there anything else that is on your mind that you want to talk about, or anything going on?
Well, I came to Vegas for the Litecoin Summit, so I'm really excited about that. So, I mean, if anybody's going to be in Vegas, there's a meetup happening tonight. People can go to the vegascryptogroup.com, and you can find information for the pre-Litecoin Summit meetup that's going to be going on this evening in Vegas. And then we have Litecoin Summit Friday and Saturday, and then Coin Agenda is going to be taking place on Saturday and Sunday. I'm really excited about that. I may be interviewing Ben Goertzel, the creator of Sophia, and Sophia's little sister, the AI robot, might be here.
Oh, we did a short on that.
Desdemona, I think it's an AI pop star. I think she's supposed to be around. I'm trying to get an interview with Ben and the bot. So yeah, I really encourage people, if they're in Vegas, man, definitely come out to these events. If you're not able to come to the Litecoin Summit or Coin Agenda, the meetup is free, right? Mike, the meetup is free. Yeah. So free meetup tonight at 6:00 p.m. Pacific time here in Vegas. Other than that, man, I just really encourage people to go check out my channel if you're not familiar with me as a content creator, and see what I'm all about. Explore my channel, check out my playlist section. I try to divide up my channel pretty well, and I've done a lot of really big, high-profile interviews in the crypto space, and encourage people to check those out.
Didn't you have McAfee's wife?
Yeah, I had her on twice. Her first public interview since John passed away, and then had her on about 5 weeks ago for an update as to what's going on. I'm waiting to hear anytime in the next 10, 11 days for the release of his body. And she's supposed to be keeping me up to date with what's going on with that.
Interesting.
So a couple of quick shout outs as well. We had Bullish Kenny Jew dropping a $2 super chat earlier. And then we have Jimmy giving out 10 gifted memberships.
Okay, Jimmy.
Here, man, he's like Santa Claus of crypto.
No, he's the official Sin City hype man.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you're not subscribed to Rice TVX on YouTube, go ahead and do so. Also, go follow him on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle, my friend?
At Rice TVX.
At Rice TVX. Shouldn't be too hard to spell.
Rice, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Man. How do you like that desk over there? The
This
one you're
desk?
at. Yeah. How is the desk? How you like it?
Be honest.
I wouldn't have it personally. I like stand-up desks. I do like stand-up desks. And
You just made one of our community members so happy.
Okay.
We got desk emojis in the chat. Look at that, man.
It's actually kind of awkward. It's like I feel like it's a little tall in a way. I don't know. Like I feel like a little kid. Maybe I'm just short. Maybe that's why I don't like it.
Look at that desk right there. Look at that desk. That thing is. We're thinking about getting it wrapped or something.
It's sturdy though.
Yeah, it's yeah.
It does what a desk is supposed to do, which is good.
He's like, well, it can hold paper and maybe a monitor.
Got a cool hole. You could do some weird stuff with that thing.
Oh man, you guys are funny. All right, I guess we need a new desk, Robin.
There it is.
You got money? Because I'm out of money.
No, we'll wait till.
We're out of money.
Who's got that big super chat?
Who wants to?
Who wants to buy a desk?
Jimmy did start a desk fund, so
I think
Dude,
he- I think
desks are
he's-
expensive, bro.
I think he super chatted us $100.
His desk was $1,400.
I paid
This one
less
moves up
than
and down.
400
This
for
one's
mine, and mine's a nice one.
This one's look at that.
And I got like a little shelf that clips on
Hold
the
on, hold on.
back of it, so I can extend it out. Yeah, I'll send you a picture of the one I use.
Yeah, Robin's desk.
It was less than $500. It's not as wide as this.
This
It's
guy,
not
man,
V-shaped.
Hey, where's Tom
or
Crown?
L-shaped.
What are you doing?
Still coming?
He didn't text me. I messaged him on Telegram because I don't have his number.
What an idiot. Rob, do you have Tom Crown's number?
Yeah, I texted him our address. He says he's gonna try to come by.
Cool.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, we're done.
Smash that like button.
Yes, smash the likes on your way out. Also, on your way out, subscribe if you haven't. Not only to Sin City Crypto, but also to Rice TVX. The link to his YouTube channel is in the description. Also, follow us on social media: Twitter, Instagram, TikToks. Check out our merch store. Not just Sin City merch, but
Did you tell him where we're gonna be at this afternoon?
Yes,
Did you mention that? I don't think
we
you did.
will be on Around the Blockchain.
Both of you?
Just me.
Oh,
2
we said
p.m.
we. I didn't know like how that was going to work.
Whoa, woo, woo. 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Come support Sin City Crypto. Throw a lot of plus ones in there. You're not on there today, are you, Rice?
No, I'm
You're
not.
usually on there Thursdays, all right. And then that's it.
Took off. Oh, the other thing I would like to encourage
Yes,
people
please.
is if they do want to check out my non-crypto related content, make sure you subscribe to Rice Against the Grain.
Rice Against the Grain. Doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. So go support the guests that come on our show. They ask for nothing in return. And the least we can do as a community is to support them in their endeavors. Rocco? Fingers together. Friends, family, friends of family, and family of friends. We thank you so much for spending your day here with us at Sin City Crypto. Huge shout out to Chris Rice from Rice TVX for joining us in-house. Thank you guys so much. We will see you tomorrow. We have Crypto Blood in studio.
Holla!
Holla! Also, we have our main man, Forrest, to break down the charts. Tomorrow's going to be a packed show. Come join us. We'll see you then. Love you guys. Take care. Peace.
Time for a new desk. He doesn't say anything. Keep it quiet. Look.
Crypto
Same.
blood. Any questions you guys want me to ask Crypto Blood tomorrow? Let me know.
If he's a blood.
No, so
What? Let's
ask him if he's a crip. Ask him if he's a crip.
Check this out.
What is his blood type? A, B.
So I asked him one time. I was like,
Is
yo.
your favorite color blue?
No, I was like, yo, what's behind the name Crypto Blood? He's like, I'm a blood. I'm like, no, seriously. He goes, all right, well, he's like, crypto. I thought it was Crip, and then I figured blood would be funny. I was like, are you not worried? You're like in the heart of Detroit, my dude.
We have an ongoing joke that I'm black and he's white.
We love Crypto Blood.
He's awesome. We were gonna do it because his name's Jerry. We were gonna.
Did you just dox him?
Oh no, he talks about it.
Oh, he does. Right.
Do a joke.
You say Jerry? Jerry Rucker.
Mother Rucker.
Yeah, we're
Mother Rucker. Bring the Rucker.
Yeah, mother Rucker. All right, I gotta pee. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.